I'm Dan Fitzpatrick at RealMoney.com. Every night we watch the same shows, Fast Money and Mad Money, and we want to use those ideas to grow our money. Well, good trading takes more than just writing down the tickers you see on TV every night and punching the buy button the next morning. I can help you know when to buy these 3 stocks I saw on TV.
Now today let's look at Paychex, Perrigo, and Best Buy. Now last night Cramer was talking to the CEO of Paychex, who was actually pretty optimistic on the economy. Said that their customers are starting to use more paychecks, which means either, they're making a lot of typos in the checks that they're writing, or they're hiring a little bit. So that's bullish. Like that. Love that. But what's going on with the stock? All right. The first thing I saw when I pulled this thing up was 50-day moving average. I look at that a lot these days. You know why? Because it's flipping relevant on every single chart, it seems like. Because these stocks, look at all the defense names. A lot of stocks have been in a sideways trading range for a while, long enough to where the 50-day moving average has come back down. In other words, the stocks haven't necessarily rallied up to the 50-day moving average, but instead they've just been trickling sideways long enough for the average price over the last 50 days, which is the 50-day moving average, to come down to the current prices. Guys, this is known as a base, okay? But it's a, it's 2-month base isn't exactly a base. It's just a base. But we're looking here at the weekly chart, and you can see, if I'm a buyer or a seller, I'm going to be a buyer here because it's at the low end of the range. So if you're going to take Cramer's trade, he likes this. If you're going to do that, that's fine. I got no problem with that, but just keep in mind this is at the top of the range. So I would say, all right, my decision would be I want to buy this stock because I think it's going higher. My question would be, do I want to buy it here, like right here, right now? And I would say, no, I'd rather set a trap for this thing. And what I mean by that is set a limit order to buy the stock closer to the lower Bollinger Band, like maybe $1 cheaper, which doesn't seem like a lot, but you know what? When you sit here and buy the stock up here, you sit, wait and wait and wait as the stock pulls down, and then it finally gets up to where you bought it the last time. You get kind of worn out, so don't do that. Instead, wait and buy it right. Now, what about Perrigo? Cramer talked to the CEO of this drug company. Look, they make the good stuff, only at less price than the name brands. And so Cramer thinks this is one that you got to go to as well. It is in a nice spot. And what I mean by that is it's up in the winner's circle. I like stocks up here as opposed to stocks that are down here in the penalty box. But the problem is, once again, just like we saw with Paychex, if you're going to draw resistance, you're going to draw support. The stock's right up on resistance, so it's fine to buy the stock. But look, here's the 50-day moving average. It kind of trickles right through the midpoint down here, but generally about the bottom of the range. So don't just buy here at $98. Wait, let the stock drift sideways. About $92 seems better to me. And last but not least, or maybe last and least, is Best Buy. The news is that they may be carrying Amazon's Kindle. Okay, that's fine. Look, this is a bricks and mortar shop. I know they've got an online presence, but guess what? So does Amazon, so that's not really an edge. But the question is this a stock that you want to buy? Look, so the news comes out, Best Buy pops a little bit and sells off pretty much all day long. You want to buy the stock, do the same thing as I was talking about on these last two on Paychex and Perrigo. Wait for the stock to come back to the lower part of the range. That would make it, I don't know, around $23, something like that. If you're buying here, you're expecting this kind of move. I just don't see that in the cards here for Best Buy. If you haven't done it already, go do it now. Get over to Real Money Pro and subscribe, okay? It's a new service. It's an awesome service. Lots of good trading ideas. Some of the best are in my articles. Fitzbits, 5 charts in each article, 4 articles a week. What's that amount to? You do the math. It's about 80 charts a month. You've got to be able to find a good trade in there somewhere. So get over there and check that out. Also, go over to my website, that's stockmarketmentor.com. Sign up for my email list. It's totally free, and I will send you 1 video a day with a charting idea that's designed to do 2 things. First of all, teach you how to fish for yourself. Second of all, maybe toss a fish on your hook every once in a while. Okay, I'm Dan Fitzpatrick, and I'll see you next time.